For 20 years, Kenji learned to kill, but he never killed anyone. He woke before dawn every single morning and walked to the dojo in the dark. The streets of his village were quiet. There was no danger here. The people had forgotten what danger looked like. They lived their small lives, trading and farming, and they didn't understand why Kenji rose before the sun just to swing a sword at the empty air. Honestly, he didn't understand it either, not anymore. The sword felt heavier now than it did when he was young. Or maybe it wasn't the sword that had grown heavy, but the meaning behind it. As a boy, swinging the blade felt like practice for something great. He would become a warrior. His name would be spoken with respect. Now he was 30. His body was hard as iron. His technique was perfect, and there was no one to fight. In the dojo, he went through the forms. Cut, thrust, turn, cut again. His movements were precise, economical, deadly. Master Toru watched from the corner, silent, as he had been for 20 years. Kenji didn't know if the old man was pleased or disappointed. He didn't know if all this training had been worth it, or if they had both just wasted their lives on a skill that would never be tested. One morning, he couldn't hold it back anymore. Why do you still train? The question had been burning inside him for months. He gestured at the empty dojo, at the sword in his hand. This, all of this. We train for a war that will never come. We sharpen blades that will never taste flesh. We build strength that has no purpose. Master Toru was silent for a long moment. He was 70 years old, his body bent with age, but his eyes were sharp. He walked to the window and looked out at the village. The people here, he said, have forgotten what I remember. They think peace is the natural state of things. They think safety just happens, without cost. But safety isn't given. Safety is built. Every morning you wake up, walk here, and swing your sword. You are building something that can't be seen. You are building the man who will be ready when readiness is required. But it will never be required, Kenji insisted. The war is over. The enemies are gone. Master Toru turned to face him. Are you certain of that? The attack came 3 weeks later. Kenji was in the marketplace buying rice when he heard the screaming. It was a sound that belonged to his training, not his daily life. He dropped the rice. He ran. Bandits had come down from the mountains, 30 men on horses, armed and ruthless. They were burning shops, striking down anyone who tried to stop them. The villagers ran in all directions, panicking, useless. They had never learned to fight. They had never built what Kenji had built. Kenji didn't think. His body moved before his mind could catch up. He saw a bandit raising his sword over a fallen woman. He closed the 20-foot distance in 3 seconds. His own blade, which he always carried, came up and down in a single motion. The bandit fell. Another turned toward him. Kenji moved. Cut, turn, cut. His body knew what to do. 20 years of forms and footwork had built a weapon that didn't require thought. He fought through the chaos, not because he was brave, but because he couldn't stop. The training took over. He wasn't Kenji, the man who bought rice on Tuesdays. He was Kenji the Blade, and the blade knew only one thing. The fight lasted 15 minutes. When it was over, 6 bandits lay dead, and the others had fled. The village was safe. Kenji stood in the smoking ruins of the marketplace, his sword in his hand. The woman he had saved approached him, trembling. "Thank you," she whispered. "How did you do that? How did you move like that?" Kenji looked at her, at the sword in his hand, at the people staring at him with a mix of fear and wonder. 20 years, he said. "I did it for 20 years. That night, he walked to the dojo. Master Toru was waiting. "You understand now," the old man said. Kenji nodded. The training was never for the war. It was for this moment. For every moment. For all the moments that never come, and for the one moment that does. Master Toru smiled, a rare thing. The sword that never strikes is not a useless sword. It is a sword that spent its entire life becoming what it was meant to be. When the time came, it did not fail. It could not fail, because it had never stopped preparing. Now listen to me. You are Kenji. You have been training for a war that never comes. You've been building a life that feels like practice for something that will never happen. You go to the gym wondering if strength matters. You read books questioning if knowledge matters. You wake up early asking yourself if discipline even matters. And you suspect the answer is no. You fear you've been wasting your time. That the real life is happening somewhere else, to someone else, and you're just going through the motions. I am telling you that going through the motions is the point. You do not know what is coming. You cannot see the crisis waiting around the corner, the moment when all your preparation will be tested. You hope that moment never comes. You hope you can live your small life without ever finding out if you are truly strong. But hope is not a strategy. And the person who is trained for nothing will have nothing to give when something is required. The purpose is not at the end of the journey. The purpose is the journey itself. Every rep you do when no one is watching. Every page you read when you'd rather scroll. Every morning you wake up when you'd rather sleep. These are not preparations for life. This is life. And they are building something in you that you cannot see, that you cannot measure, that you cannot appreciate until the moment when it is suddenly, urgently required. Do not wait for the war to start before you become a warrior. Become the warrior now. The war may never come. And if it never comes, you will have lived a life of strength and discipline and purpose, which is better than a life of waiting and wondering and regret. But if it does come, you will be ready. And that readiness is the only purpose that matters. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more.